And we are following breaking news in the land of UFC, the long-awaited fight between Khabib Nurmagomedov and Justin Gaethje. That will happen. According to UFC President Dana White, the fight will now take place on October 24th. It was initially scheduled for September. Of course, this has been a very difficult year for Khabib after the death of his father, who was also his trainer. They were very close. He died due to COVID complications. There were rumors that he could possibly retire, but White confirming the fight is in fact happening. Taking a look at the lightweight rankings as of right now, will this fight change that? All right, let's bring in the champ, Hall of Famer Rashad Evans. First of all, Rashad, just your reaction to this fight that it's actually going to happen.
I'm super excited. I mean, this is the fight of the year. This is the fight of all fights. You have Justin Gaethje and Khabib Nurmagomedov, possibly one of the greatest fighters of all time, finally get a chance to square off. And it's been a rough road for Khabib. You know, he's been, his father caught COVID-19, and he's been dealing with that all pandemic. And then his father finally passed away July 3rd, and it's been really devastating for Khabib. You know, he competes for his father. You know, his father got him into the sport and was his main training partner, main coach. And you know, he has such a great relationship, such a close relationship with his father. And to see him finding the strength to compete, to go on and finish the career the way that his father wanted him to is inspiring. You know, his father wanted him to fight only 30 fights. And he has 2 more fights until he has 30 fights. And we know the one will be against Justin Gaethje. It's interesting what the other one will be. We don't know what that will be yet. There's been talks about GSP. There's also been some talks about Conor being that last and final fight of Khabib's, but who knows what that would be. It all depends on what Khabib is going to do, because he does honor his father's wishes, and his father may have wished him to not fight Conor for that last 30th fight, but that all remains the same. But the most important thing is that we got to fight.
Knowing what you know about Khabib and the death of his father, how close they were, how do you think he's going to use this in his training moving up to this?
I think he's going to be very motivated to just implement every single thing that his father has taught him since he's been knee high. You know, just that the overall dominance on the ground that he's been known for, that he's been, you know, got a championship for. I think that he's going to try to be even more flawless in his efforts to just make sure he dominate with you know, pure supremacy, and make it so that there's no doubt in anyone's mind who is the best lightweight of all time. And you know, he's got a tough fight against the Justin Gaethje who hits like crazy, who can wrestle, who has tremendous power in his leg kicks, and who's, you know, has a great fight acumen and fight IQ. So this is going to be a tough fight for Khabib, who is going against somebody who can definitely keep the fight standing and definitely land some shots to end the fight.
Okay, we have less than 3 months. You mentioned this is what we wanted. This is the fight. Knowing what these 2 men are bringing into the octagon, give us a preview of what you think we can expect when it finally happens on October 24th.
Man, well, I expect Khabib to go and, you know, try to stand up for a little bit. But I think for the most part, he knows that Justin Gaethje kicks way too hard and he punches way too hard to give a fresh Justin Gaethje a crack at him. So what he's going to do right out the gate from start is he's going to get in close quarters as he can with Justin Gaethje, try to get him to the ground. And that exchange in the battle in the first few minutes of the fight is pretty much going to set up how the fight goes, how much Justin Gaethje is able to keep the fight going, how much resistance they offer Khabib, as far as, you know, getting back up if he does get taken down, is going to pretty much spell out how the rest of the fight goes. I think that Justin is going to be pretty hard for Khabib to hold down and to release some ground and pound. So I think this is going to be a lot of back and forth action, but I do think Khabib, he may get the win just because of that grappling that he has is definitely going to tire out Justin Gaethje.
All right, Dana White, we know it's going to be the 24th. We don't know where it's going to happen. You have a feeling we're going back to Yas Island. Why is that?
I got a feeling we're going back to Yas Island. And I say that because, the whole traveling restrictions, the whole traveling restrictions from Russia to United States, who knows what they're going to be, and especially facing what we might be facing with the pandemic, if there's any more shutdowns or things like that, that can definitely make traveling a problem. So one way to get around all of that is just to make it so that in Abu Dhabi or Yas Island is the place, the destination where to be at, and it's a lot less for Khabib to travel from as far as the traveling standpoint, and he actually has more of a connection with the people in Dubai and Saudi Arabia, being that he's fought there before and he has great relationships with the sheikhs as well too. So I think it's going to be a Fight Island, and it'd be a great fight in Fight Island.
Rashad, you mentioned before his father's passing that Khabib's father wanted him to have just 2 more fights. This is one of them, Justin Gaethje. You mentioned a couple other names, but I want to know, in your dream scenario, what would that final fight be?
The final fight would be Conor. Listen, I love the GSP fight, and I love it because it's like a great fans fight. The great want to see the great GSP versus the great Khabib. That's great, but there's just something about the Conor fight. It's just something about it. I mean, those two are just destined to fight again. They've had so many so many interactions since then, and they've actually kind of cleaned up their interactions from there. Conor offered support when Khabib's father passed, and Khabib offered support when Conor's aunt passed from COVID. So they've been, talking with each other in that kind of way, and they do have that kind of respect for each other. But it's just going to be interesting to see how that fight plays out. This is the fight that everybody wants to see. This is the fight to make, and Dana White knows that. So I think that providing he gets past Justin Gaethje, this would be Khabib's last fight.
All right, he's going to have to come out of retirement, though, then maybe go back in, then come back out a couple more times. We'll see if that happens. All right, Hall of Famer Rashad Evans, thank you so much for joining us here on CBS Sports HQ for this breaking news. You can hear much more from this man, also Brian Campbell, on the State of Combat podcast. They get excited on there. They will be talking about this Khabib taking on Justin Gaethje. Download and subscribe right now. Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.